And good morning, everybody. Welcome into another edition of the Pass and Av Sports Show. I'm your host, James Scusa, with you, and with me, as always, is a group of companions on this very important Saturday. Joey Marks, what's going on, my brother? Good morning.
Good morning, Philadelphia. A little gloomy out, but we'll make the sunshine come out for everybody who's going to attend our show today. Later on, speaking of attending, we're going to have our good friend Damon Saleem possibly stopping by. I'm looking forward to talking with him. He's been a busy man. He's probably busier. He's probably one of the busiest men in West Philly, other than Will Smith. Uh, but
Well, speaking of Damon, he just popped on with us. Damon Saleem joins us here today on this very important program. Dame, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
Good morning, guys. Thank you. Happy Saturday to you. That's a nice comparison to Will Smith. I like it.
Yeah, right. Just don't slap anybody.
No, no,
yeah,
no,
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 no.
no, 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 none of that.
No,
None of
I'm
that.
just kidding. I'm just
None of that.
teasing.
None of that.
But Mitzkowski joins us right now and says good morning to everybody. By the way, before we go any further, in the next couple of weeks or so, me and Mitzkowski are going to talk some birds on the Fly Like an Eagle podcast, so especially me being a partial guest, not a guest host, but actually more of a co-host with Mitzkowski. So looking forward to that, my brother. Hopefully we'll talk soon about anything about that too. But man, we got a lot to get to on this busy Saturday morning here in the city of brotherly love, Joe. So simply put, where do we begin, Joe?
Well, before we move to where we begin, I'm going to make another announcement. So me and James is a busy man, and he's starting to trying to catch up and live up to Damon Saleem's kind of. But James and I are starting a new show in June. We hope for everyone to join and watch. It's a documentary based kind of show called Philly Fame Legends.
Yes,
And
sir.
then we document and highlight different legends in Philly sports history. We break down and discuss their highlights, their careers, their and overall the type of person and that they impacted this community to be. So we hope for people to tune in to that sometime in June.
Looking
And
forward to it, brother.
we have another groundbreaking project that me, James, Mitch Kofsky, Scott from Streampunk Entertainment, we're all working on. It's a big announcement, but we're going to keep it on our hats for now. But stay tuned after the All-Star break for the baseball. It's groundbreaking. It's never been done, and we're going to be the first company to do it.
Gotta
So
love it.
I'm excited about that.
Congratulations, guys. That's awesome.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you,
So,
man.
David Saleem,
Good
man,
morning. What's happening,
it
brother?
is. It has been like I need to get through your security detail just to get in touch with you,
Yeah,
man.
I've been
I
busy.
love you. I miss you. Well, we miss you here.
Thank
I
you.
get
Thank
it.
you.
Life just takes the
Yeah.
wheel. Um,
Yeah.
so my first question, we're gonna start because we haven't talked with you in such a long
Mm-hmm.
time. Damon, the Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions again, baby.
Yeah, congratulations. It was awesome. That was awesome.
What was your reaction
Mm-hmm.
as you watched that happen? What was
Okay.
your immediate reaction to the Super Bowl championship win?
Oh wow. So I felt good. Let me go back going into the Super Bowl. Let me go back. So I told my coworkers when they played the Commanders, I said they're going to smoke the Commanders. I said they're going to smoke them. I didn't know double nickels. I didn't know they were going to put up 55. But
I don't
I
think anybody did. We're
yeah,
like,
I
I didn't expect
whoa.
that either, man.
yeah, Jay. I said they're going to smoke those guys, and they did. Right. So now back to the Super Bowl. I told my coworker Molt. He's one of the PE teachers. I said Molt. He's a season ticket holder. He and his brother. I said it's not going to be as close as people think. I said the Eagles are going to control the game. I said and I my score, Joe and James, was 35-21. That's what I
Ooh,
called. And
wow.
so going back to the game, um, where I when the game started and the Eagles flipped the coin, and the Chiefs got the possession, and then the defense stopped. Let me go back. So earlier that day, I talked to my buddy Bernard, and we said you got to get Mahomes' ankles. You have to wrap him up, and you grab those ankles and you don't let him go.
Mhm.
And so the pressure that they began to put on him in that first series, I was like, okay, this is interesting. So then going back, James, when we had the nice catch by AJ Brown and they called it back, I'm like, uh-oh, here we go with the shenanigans. However, it didn't stop. When I knew they had the game, Joe, they sacked him once, they sacked him twice, and then when Cooper got the pick, I said, game's over.
Yep.
And that was the first half.
Yeah, you know what? That's a great point. Like you got to him back-to-back plays.
Yes, you
like
did.
that.
Yeah.
It's hard to get to him for one play, let alone back-to-back. And then for that course of that string of plays, that string of events, that not only was unique. I never thought about it from that perspective. That's very interesting.
Yeah,
because that you're right. That has never been done to Patrick Mahomes.
No,
he must have been lost. After that, he must have been turned upside down.
Yeah.
yeah.
James, you gonna say something? I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I was gonna say, like, the thing about it too. That's a very good point. Like you even said, Dave. The one thing I was really intrigued about too was that, I mean, it's kind of like it was like a different Super Bowl than it was the first time, obviously, because like you think about the Super Bowl that they won like in 2017, and I mean they couldn't stop Brady for God knows apparent reason. I mean they just couldn't like. I mean, it only had to look for one stop, and then Brandon Graham got that strip sack, obviously.
Yeah.
But the thing about it too is that when they put pressure on Mahomes, it kind of like kind of tell you what kind of a game it was going to be too.
I mean, that notion of what you're saying, Dame, too. Maybe you can agree with this. It seemed like with them being able to do that, they were playing angry. Like the Eagles were playing angry.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, for sure. So to piggyback off both you said in terms of the pressure that they applied to him, and then I've never seen him look that bewildered. Never. I've never seen Andy Reid look that bewildered and Spags. So if you guys had a chance, if you haven't, couple things to watch. Watch the Eagles mic'd up in the Super Bowl. It's awesome to see their reactions on the sideline. Even when the AJ Brown play was called back, they were calm. Saquon kept saying, "Let's get to the fourth." I feel this mantra, but get to the fourth. But it was a night, but get to the fourth quarter or something like that. But or get to triple zeros. But the night before the game, the team had a meeting. And Saquon said it all. And if you guys get a chance to see it, man, he talks about looking at the tape and realizing that they were the better team and that they were being disrespected, Joe, because everybody kept repeating three-peat. And they kept disrespecting that team. So to your point, yes, they were angry. They were upset, and the people disrespected them. And, man, did they go out there and play like it. They put a beating on them. I mean, they put a beating on them. So when they got so the score we know was 41, I believe, to 22, but we know that they didn't score to the end of the third quarter. So those points that the Chiefs were getting, it didn't matter. Like Eagles, all they do is continue to kick field goals. They were never going to come back to win that game. And man, I went out that night. I went downtown. I walked home from 8th and Market back to West Philly. I was just amped up. I was excited to be out there with the people. I went to the parade. I was out there with the people. I could have had some passes to get my nephew got pictures with Brandon Graham and those guys, and I could have got back there, but I didn't get down there till later, and it was hard to catch up with my brother. But I didn't care. I wanted to be with the people, man. So it was beautiful, man, and everyone's feeling the vibe. And James, you'll like this one. Get ready for next year because we're going back.
Oh, I love it, man. I love it.
So I mean, and that's what I like. Like speaking of Will Smith in West Philly, like Damon Saleem is a man of the people. He's like, I want to be a part of the people, man.
With the people, man.
I want to be with the people.
Yeah.
But speaking of next year, fellas, there's some things that the league is angry with the Eagles. The league is trying to take some things away from the Eagles, and I got to get some feedback from you guys about what you guys think. The tush push. Now, who doesn't like pushing another man's tush? Like as much as Saquon Barkley and other people. I mean, come on now. If it ain't the brotherly love, it ain't the brotherly shove. You got to live with it where it is. But Damon Saleem, what do you think about them trying to outlaw the tush push?
I think it's cowardly. I think it's weak. Sean McDermott, who I would champion for, because anybody that's part of the Eagles family and they move on to coach, I champion for you. He's not invited to the barbecues right now. And he's not invited because he's out there advocating for this tush push to be banned. Mind you, he comes from my family tree. God rest his soul, Jim Johnson. He knows the Philly mantra. Spags and Andy's going to be a part of the tree, right? But even though we had to put a whipping on them, it's nothing personal. It's business with a Z.
Oh, yeah.
So we had to handle our business with those guys. But you don't hear those guys out there crying about the tush push. And McDermott, by the way, Joe, you know this because you're a statsman. Buffalo used the tush push, James, just as much as we did.
Yeah.
Yep. They're the
So how
second.
dare you? You're contradicting yourself.
Second highest rated team to use the tush push in the league.
Yeah.
And to efficiency. Like, they're not as effective as the Eagles, but to the level of efficiency, they're the second highest. And so for this guy to be like, why are you trying to outlaw a play you guys utilize quite so much?
Mhm.
Like, you're cutting your nose off to spite your face. But you know what? That for me, this is it's like you said, cowardly. But this is a desperate reach for teams and the league to stop something when the Eagles go, we cracked the code. We figured out something and no one else figured out. And now the NFL's like, no. You're not allowed to be great. You're not, because you know damn well if this was Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs and Andy Reid with all the Wendy's commercials and all the Allstate commercials and all the whatever kind of commercials, you know for a fact if this was them who invented this, this wouldn't be touched. It would be untouchable.
Well, a couple of things comes to mind. Tom Brady was great at the quarterback sneak because of his height and his intelligence, of course. And the other thing, Joe, I'll take you back. And I don't know if James, you will remember this show. It was a guy named William the Refrigerator Perry.
Yes.
On the Bears. And guy was saw our great buddy Ryan drafted him, for defense.
Right.
Well, they discovered something. Hey, we could put this guy on the offensive line, on the goal line. They took away. I mean, to this day, people are upset Walter Payton didn't get a touchdown in the Super Bowl because he took his snaps. However, no one complained about this. It was the fridge is on the O-line and he's blocking and he's running in touchdowns as a running back. No one complained. No one said anything.
Nobody complained.
They championed for this, right?
Yeah.
But to Joe's point, the Eagles. Okay, we know Mailata played rugby. I'm sure he went to Stoughton U and said, listen, we could try this play. And they mastered it. I know they did. And for the league to, and this is the thing, man. Oh, people can get hurt. There's no data.
No evidence.
Zero data saying anybody got hurt.
Well, here's the thing. You brought up about Jordan Mailata going to Statland. The antithesis of this play, this was documented.
Mm-hmm.
The antithesis of this play came from Jason Kelsey, Nick Sirianni, Lane Johnson, and Jordan Mailata with Jeff Statland. They all sat down in a room together and said, okay, short yardage. It's the most important part of the game that gets overlooked and underappreciated, but it can win you the game or lose you the game. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, Statland, Nick threw out the quarterback sneak, but how to reinvent the quarterback sneak. Then it was Kelsey, Lane, and Mailata said, okay, it's about the blocking. We have to figure out how to change the blocking on this play.
Right.
So Kelsey was on the morning show, I would say almost a year ago, and he was explaining like the dynamic because they were asking the question, okay, Jason, with you gone, can Cam Jurgens still do the tush push? Like, is this going to be a bad play now that you're not doing it? And Jason like broke down the angles, how you block, what their responsibilities are, what the other linemen's responsibility. It was very intricate. I mean, it's like trigonometry personified. And so it's not just a small little quarterback sneak. There's a lot that goes into the play. But here's the other thing, and this is what I keep hearing this. And it keeps bothering me because I had a guy who I worked with a couple years ago People have been saying that the tush push isn't a football play. Okay. So, and I put air quotes for a good reason because I have an issue with this. I take real umbrage with this because I had a guy who I worked with a couple years ago who said, if you're going to outlaw a play in the NFL, it's got to be the quarterback kneel down. There's no reason why the quarterback should be able to waste a play without being touched. Like there's just no reason for it. You should have to play on because anything can happen. But you take that away from the defense when you allow the quarterback to take a knee and not be touched. No, you can't touch him. So I think that's less of a football play than anything else. I also think that the spike, when the quarterback spikes it, is a less of a football play than the tush push. Why? Because if it's intentional grounding, when a quarterback throws it away,
that's even more.
No one in the zone.
Good point.
How is a quarterback spike where there's no intended receivers near there?
Right.
How is that not intentional grounding?
Yeah.
So, and maybe it is, but like you don't get flagged. They do it and they move on. But it's not a football play.
Yeah.
At least with the tush push, there's some drama. Like there's some drama to it.
Yeah.
Like
guaranteed too.
And there sure was drama when the Washington Commanders couldn't stop it, and you had Lutu Luvu that was jumping over the lines, and you had the referee say, "Don't do that anymore."
Well, that's who I wanted to get to. I'm glad you brought that up because that embarrassed the team and embarrassed the league.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now
that did
that to me when the referee has to say it was like 6 or 7 times. Listen, I'm going to give them the touchdown. Because how many half inches can you give them on the goal line? There's only otherwise you're going to walk the touchdown. You're going to walk it into the goal to the touchdown, right? So to walk in for a touchdown, I think that to your point, Joe, the league when we know the quarterback controls the game on both sides, we understand that, and that's fine. But when the team, when this particular play controls the game in the league, is an issue with them. But I go back to my Perry. William Fritz Perry example, they lord over that. Oh, this is great. This is fantastic. This big guy is running in, But the other thing that people are missing, we have a quarterback who people want to debate, who is top 5, and I love to get in that debate if they want to. He benches 600 to 800 pounds. He's that.
I wonder what show on air said that Jalen Hurts was a top 5 quarterback well before he won the Super Bowl. I wonder.
Sometimes I wonder.
Yeah, sometimes. And Shady McCoy backs it up too, man. Listen. Listen, okay, let's stop. He outplayed Patrick Mahomes twice in the Super Bowl. The difference is this time, James, he brought home the hardware.
And that's the most important thing too. We got a couple comments here. I'm sorry, David.
Yep, go ahead.
We got a couple comments here. So this one, this is from Bobby Murphy. The first one, he says, the NFL has zero evidence, and also good morning to you, Bobby. Hope all is well. There's no evidence when it comes to player safety, and it's total BS. And he also said McDermott whining about it, yet his team ran it in the AFC Championship game 4 times in that championship game against the Chiefs. And let me say this too before we go any further here, because I've been thinking about this all week ever since this whole thing came out, and here are all the speculations of, oh, it's a dangerous play. Oh, there's there's like data on it and all this and all that too. Let me say this right here, right now. You guys are soft. You are absolutely soft.
There's
a capital S, a capital O, a capital F, and a capital T exclamation point. Soft as Charmin soft.
Well, okay. There's one Charmin, and
he's
in Kansas City.
Well, actually, no. He's actually retired.
But he's not complaining about it.
Yeah.
You would think, not to cut you off, Joe, real quick. You would think, to James's point, we were playing McDermott twice a year, like we're in the division. We're not even in your conference. So we
haven't seen him in 4 years. We only see
the Giants, the Commanders, and the Cowboys are going, hey man, outlaw this play.
Oh yeah.
but they're not.
See, it's sour grapes. And, that's the way I
Sour
look
grapes
at
and
it.
cantaloupes. That's what I was calling.
Here's the thing that I would say, James. There's an old wrestling adage that Jerry the King Lawler used to say. It's not ballet.
Yeah.
Okay, football is not ballet.
Mm-mm.
Okay, you get hit. It's one of the most violent sports out there, outside of hockey. It's the most violent sport that's out there.
One play away from being done.
Yeah, and
Literally.
understand something.
I don't understand it. I mean, it's just
Well, here's where I go. Okay, so there's a conspiracy that's going along that the reason why they tabled the vote for the the ruling was so that they could campaign to get more votes. So there's a higher likelihood that this is more probable to be banned than it is not. Now, that being said, I'm going to ask this question. Okay, you had Nick Sirianni, you had Jason Kelsey, you had all these guys, Jeff Statland, all these guys that created.
even Mike Tomlin. I mean, Mike Tomlin, like, he's been around for years, and he's complaining about it too.
But my point is this: do you think the Eagles will say, "Okay, you want to outlaw this? All right, we'll figure something else out"? Damon, do you think that this is where the Eagles go, "Okay, you screw us, okay"? Just like how they were angry leading into the Super Bowl against the Chiefs because of what was being said.
Sure.
Do you think this is where the Eagles turn around and go, "Oh, you want to take something away from us? Okay, we're just going to come back and shove it right down your throat."
Yeah,
Do you think that they're going to create something new?
I actually thought about that the other day. I think they're that smart to actually maybe have a counter play in the back pocket that they haven't even exposed.
Right.
And the thing, there were a couple of times. First of all, someone stopped this on a tush push. I think once or twice who's been stopped, by the way. No injuries, but it has been stopped. I forget the team that stopped.
Jacksonville. It was
Okay,
Jacksonville.
Yeah, it was Jacksonville. That's right.
Three times in that game we were stopped by Jacksonville.
Okay, I stand corrected. It was 3 times. Okay, so evidence proves that. And by the way, no one was hurt, but they were stopped. The other thing is, Jalen has done it a few times where he set up for the tush push, but he ran on the outside. So I'm sure and I agree with you. I didn't think about that, but yeah, they put it on hold to get other votes. But there's a small part of me thinking it's not going to pass, and then they're going to just like, you know what, just let them have it. Because the thing about it is, it's a play that's obviously is great concern all of a sudden to people, but it gives the Eagles an extra down, of course, and a pretty much 99 or 97% chance of getting the first down. And teams can't stop it, and they're frustrated. Oh, this is what I'm trying to. My whole point. One of the things that made Muhammad Ali so great was that he won his fights before he got into the ring. He talked about it. He said the hype that I did, and it was to get into my opponent's head so I can beat him before getting into the ring, and he was successful at it. This particular play, they're already in the team's head because even the announcers, oh, here comes a tush push. Everyone knows what's coming, and they can't figure out, so they're defeated. And then the ego comes in, the male ego steps in and goes, well, let's just ban it. I don't even want to see it, and that's what's happening.
I feel like it's a bunch of kids going like, it's not fair.
Yes, I'm taking off my football. Give me my football. I'm going off the field.
Fair.
Exactly.
You guys are going home.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
So it's kind of,
exactly what it is.
It's weird in that way because I'm like, okay, can we all be professionals here? Like, but I'm a firm believer if they get banned, it's gonna motivate the Eagles. Now you talk about your prediction coming into this episode about saying they're going back. If you want a way to motivate a team to just come out this season and be motivated and geared to annihilate any team that steps in front of them, you done pissed off the Giant, man. Like, I'm sorry, but like, these guys are men. So when you take something away from them and they're like, wait a minute, we didn't do anything to merit this. Like, we worked really hard. And now you're just trying to devalue what we've done. Okay, fine. Then you know what? We're going to hit you in the mouth. Because everyone, like the Giants, the Commanders, the Cowboys, everybody that we see, be prepared because this isn't on you guys independently. It's on the NFL. because you can go blame Roger Goodell that we whooped your ass as badly as we did because y'all took something away from us that we didn't deserve to have taken away from us.
Yeah. And here's the other thing, too. Bobby Murphy checks in and says, players blow their knees out with zero contact on the plays, and that's how football runs. And that's exactly right, Bob.
That's
I agree.
That's right.
And he also said, too, maybe McDermott is still salty because the Eagles fired his ass one season as a defensive coordinator back a long time ago.
It's time to let regrets go there, McDermott.
Yeah.
It's time to let regrets go.
He's mad because his team couldn't figure out how to beat the Chiefs, and we did.
Yeah, right.
And he's had more goes at it than we have.
It's a mental thing. It's a mental thing.
We have had less turns at the Chiefs, and we have a better record against the Chiefs than he does.
To me, it goes back to that what I just used. You have to go into a game, yo. The Eagles, they knew they were going to beat the Chiefs. They said, "Oh, y'all want to talk three-peat the first," and you just overlooking what we've done. Yeah. So the Bills, they go in, okay, we're here again. Let's see what happens. No, the Eagles are like, we're going to show you how this is done, and they did it.
That's the difference. The Bills go in going, oh God, I hope we can do this.
I hope we can do it.
Well, I hope we. The Eagles went
home field advantage and all.
We were like, no, we're gonna go do it.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. Oh, the guy in red's across the field from us, we should be scared because it's him. Like, no, we're good. We're good. Like, we have one, and we have all those guys on defense. And look, I'll ask this question too in parting for the Eagles topic for today. You got the draft coming up in a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask this of you, Damon. There was a lot of departures on the defense. Somehow the belief in Howie Roseman from getting hit in the head with a beer can at the parade. We all here know who that possibly was. But but that being said, the idea that, Howie went from building not one, but 2 Super Bowl championship teams from scratch. All of a sudden, we lose like a third of the defense, and everyone's panicking. And I'm like, okay, we just put this guy on a pedestal of Hall of Fame GM. Right. Now all of a sudden, we're worried. Why are y'all getting shook? Like, the guy has been doing well with the draft. My question to you is, do you have any doubts about Howie Roseman going into the draft?
No, I don't. Well, a couple things. Let me say this. Shout out to N'Kobe Dean, who came to our school before the Super Bowl. And then
nice. My man.
Jahan Dotson was just here this past week. I got some pictures with a nice guy.
Excellent.
Let me go back. I did not like the CJ. I did not like that one. I thought he's the heartbeat of that defense. That really stung. I knew Milt Williams and Milton Williams, Sweat, those guys are going to go because they have to go get paid. We understand that. And I wish them well. I really do.
Yeah.
Here's what people have to understand, though. And I know, it's a give and take. One thing about Howie that I've always admired, he lives in the moment, but he also prepares for the future. He knows he has to pay Jalen Carter. He knows he has to pay a couple of other guys that I mentioned off the top of my head. Jordan Davis, right? It was another guy.
Reed Blankenship.
And Hunt. And I think is it Hunt? Not Hunt. One of our other tackles. But he has to pay those guys. Jalen Carter literally had 2 offensive linemen in his hands, leaving lanes open for Williams and those guys. Like, yo, these are holes. Go get them. So he actually helped those guys get paid. They should take him out for a steak dinner.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Exactly.
He got them some nice contracts. That's not to say that they didn't deserve it, that they're not going to live up to it. I don't know. But he's a huge part of that. So I'm okay with that because Jalen Carter, you're not going to let go. That's generational talent that you continue to build around. So, and then you have those other young guys. So going back to the draft, Vic Fangio, John Clark interviewed him the other day after the Phillies game or after the Phillies practice. He talked about it. he's on top of it. Hey, they signed Zach Bond, which is huge. We know they could have let him walk. They got him a deal, which is nice, and then they'll just build off of that. So there are a few concerns because I didn't like the CJ move.
Yeah.
But I believe that they will find some talent in the draft, and not only that, leading up to training camp, there's always a team or two that's willing to part with the player, and we know how he comes in and somehow gets player X. Oh, I didn't even know he was on the trading block. Boom, and comes in and helps the team. So I think they'll be fine. And then someone brought a good point. You just prepare for it. Oh, they lost BG, who was fabulous for us this year. So you have to prepare for it. And I think the pulse of the team is still there, and they'll figure it out moving forward.
Yeah.
So
go ahead, that's the thing. That's the thing too. You think about like the players we lost and all that too. This is like probably the time like everybody, like for example, like Sidney Brown has to step up. Obviously, like Keely Ringo, this is his role now to see what he has in store too. But no, I agree, Dame. I think that's the most important thing that you have to do is to see what you have with the depth players and see what they're going to be made of. It'll be interesting to see what Howie does in it. Actually, 2.5 weeks from now, can you believe it?
That's the thing is like with Howie, unlike 2017 where it was a lot of mercenaries that he lost.
Right.
There was a lot of when you lose what you lose now. And James brought it up. You have guys like Sidney Brown that are going to step into their role. You have Jalen Hunt that's going to step into the role. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is going to step into his role.
Keely Ringo too.
Keely Ringo,
and Hunt and Huff is it Huff?
Yes,
right. Oh yeah,
he has to step up.
Yeah.
And
like so you have these guys, and like I said, these are guys that are already on the roster. These aren't guys that we have drafted yet, and so there's not a reason to believe that when you add more talent to this defense, which Howie will do in the draft and like free agency and whatnot.
Right.
Then my feeling is this: in Howie, I trust because he knows what needs to be done. That's not lost on him.
Yeah.
But he's not willing to cut his nose off to spite his face. And like you said, Dame, he knows he's got to sign the man-child that is Jalen Carter because whatever player he puts next to Jalen Carter on either side is going to thrive.
Yep.
And so Jalen Carter is your linchpin. I hate to say it because Frank Finnegan would need to be here to confirm or deny, but I would go as far as to say that Jalen Carter is your next Jerome Brown.
Right.
That's where I'm kind of comping.
Yeah. You can combine him with little Jerome and little Reggie, and I say that to say, and I remember that team, like that defense was like amazing, right? So. But I combine the two because of his leadership. He's young, and unfortunately, the situation happened at Georgia. But I think coming to Philadelphia was the best thing for him because this was an organization, a team, and a town that he could grow up and mature in. And Vic Fangio's got right there for him. So he's a keeper. And you could build around him. So he has that motor, right? He has that motor of the Jerome Brown, and then he has that Reggie Brown leadership that he's going to grow into. So yeah, he's just dynamite.
No, so like here's the thing, and this is the part with the Eagles. So you brought up William the Fridge Perry. Well, we may not have a fridge, and we might
play
not
for us, by the way. Shout out to the fridge.
Yeah. So we might not have the fridge, but I just want to give everybody perspective. It's something I really thought about. Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis is a big man, and he's a powerful man.
Yeah.
And he's still trying to get his footing in the NFL. But here's the other thing that people don't remember. Jordan Davis ran a 4.5 in the combine for a defensive tackle. This is a guy that you're not – if he's running at if it's 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1 and he's running at that defensive line, you're going to really feel that excited to go try and tackle him at full speed? No, sorry.
Well, there's another Jordan out there too. Like Jordan Mailata come back and eligible.
I think either one's scary. I think either one is terrifying.
Oh, hell yeah.
And with Davis, I've been patient with him. I know this is his third year, so next year
Yeah.
will be his fourth year.
Yeah.
He's lost weight. He's finding his footing. He's finding his
Yep.
way. I know they want him more so on passing downs. He's really good on the rundowns. But I think that with the guy that big, man, I mean, he's big, and to Joe's point, he's got some speed and size, of course, size to him. You have to be patient. He has to figure some things out, and I think he is. And I think he's gotten better each year. So
Hey,
I expect a little. I expect another jump for him.
all I'm saying is if we can convert Van Sumer into a fullback, it ain't that much harder to
Harder than Jordan
convert
Davis.
Jordan Davis to a
Yeah.
running back.
Yeah.
No doubt. No doubt, man.
To move on, it would be remiss for me to have the great Damon Saleem on and not cover a topic. And Damon, you may be uncomfortable, but we have to get your take.
I'm prepared for James today. So
we're gonna talk about the Philadelphia 76ers, folks.
Yes.
Oh, the
I gotta ask,
the
Damon.
inevitable, whatever it's
Damon,
called.
I've done my mea culpa to plenty of people.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to do one. You're a grown man. I don't. You do you. But what I'm gonna ask is what do you feel? How do you feel about what's going on with the Sixers and Joel Embiid and all of that this season?
So the last time I believe I was on the show, we had maybe just signed Paul George, and it's a while ago. And I was saying this is the team for the next 4 years. This is our squad. We have to live with it. Unfortunately, it went way left. I mean, way left. Am I disappointed? Yeah. Am I angry? I can't say that I'm angry. The reason why I'm not angry, because unfortunately, injuries happen. I found out something. Let me go back.
You just pulled a parent move. You're like, I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
Okay. I'm lying. I'm angry. I'm pissed off. Let me stop. You know why? If you'd have caught me like 3 weeks ago, you'd have heard that I'm pissed. I'm pissed because like this is Philadelphia. Like we should not be in this situation, right? We should not be here. But I know people want to blame Joel Embiid, but that damn Ben Simmons set us back. Ben Simmons set us back because Joe and they were supposed to be the Brown and Tatum tandem. He decides to quit basketball. He doesn't love the game. He loves the lifestyle. Okay, fine. I'm past that. Boom, move on. No more Ben Simmons. Now, we blessed with a man named Maxey. They were doing some great things. Last year, Joe scored 70 points. Hasn't been the same since. He gets hurt. Kuminga falls on his leg. He comes back. He rushes back for the playoffs. Doesn't do so well. He plays in the Olympics. People upset about that. It's damn if you do, damn if you don't. He comes back, and he's not himself this year. So now here we are. We Paul George doesn't do what we want to do. They haven't had a chance to play. So the team's in disarray, right? 52 different lineups. Unfreaking believable. There's no cohesion, all of that. However, Joe and James, just the other day, after not making the playoffs, we're going to keep hopefully our lottery pick. And if we keep moving up, there's a small chance you can get to the number one, small chance to get to the number one slot. You get a Cooper Flack. So I just had this conversation with my buddy yesterday. I said, listen, man, I can sit and wallow and be upset, but in my life, the way I live my life, I always try to find a positive. So here's some positives I'm going to share with you guys. People are constantly saying, it's time to rebuild. Get rid of Joe and start rebuilding. Well, fans, they already have. And it's right before your eyes. I'm going to lay down the B squad for you. Your young guys. This is your young talent. McCain, Grimes, Edwards, Bona, and said lottery pick, be it Cooper Flag, my man Ace Bailey from Rutgers, who I like, or the kid Quinn from Maryland. That's your 5 young guys you can get that you already have on your roster. This is if they're thinking like me, that's your 5 young B squad that you could build off of. Now your A squad, people are not going to be happy. Embiid, if this is arthroscopic surgery comes back, and I'll tell you what you do with B. Give me a second. You got Embiid, Maxey, George, Oubre, and hopefully you can work out some type of deal with Yabu. Be it a 2-year deal, hang around deal. And then you add a player or two. Here's what you do with Joe. You get this surgery, but there should be he can't play in back-to-backs. Let them play in the back-to-back. You're not going to be. I know people want to get rid of him. You can't get rid of him because you're not going to get the value. He just signed a contract. It's a lot that goes into that. However, you find a way. If you can't get rid of Paul George, you find a way to make it work because they haven't had a chance to practice together. You got to find a way. The other thing is, you tell Joe, you're going to play in the back-to-back, but I'm going to lessen your minutes. One more thing that I would do with Joe. You're not going to be first option. I know people like, damn, you're saying that about Joe? Yes. What I'm saying is you're not the first option. That doesn't mean you're not the option, but you have a maxi. And I believe, I don't know this for sure, I'm going to ask somebody when I catch up with them. I believe they already started letting Maxey and Grimes play together in the backcourt to see what they have. You got to give Dow credit. He stole this guy from Dallas. I remember him with the Knicks. I remember him with Dallas. But this kid can play, man. This kid can defend. He can score.
I'll be honest. I didn't know who he was. I'll be honest. I didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
But when he came here and he started to play well, I'm like, yo, who is this cat?
Yeah.
Like, all right, who are you? Like him and Bona. Like,
yeah. Bona's still raw. Bona's still raw.
Yabusele, I should say. Like Yabusele and Grimes, I think are the most.
Sorry, Joe.
There you go. Yabusele and Grimes, you were saying?
Yabusele and Grimes have been the biggest surprises to me because for me, it's like with all the disarray that this team has had, those two have shocked me because you don't expect it from those guys coming from those players.
Well, the other thing is, how about Edwards, the kid from Emotep?
Yes.
So believe it or not, he's going to replace Paul George if they move Paul George. He's a lefty. He can defend. His shot's nice, and he's only going to get better. He just needs to get stronger. In the offseason, he needs to put on a little bit more muscle.
It's interesting. His coach in Emotep was one of my assistant coaches when I coached basketball at Germantown High School.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Like, I kind of take a little sense of pride for what that guy has done because he was one of my assistants. I had two assistants underneath when I coached Germantown Boys High School.
Wow.
And so, like, I reached out to him and I said, this kid's special. He's like, you have no idea. Like, he's got so much untapped potential, and he's a sponge. He's willing to learn. He's willing to work hard, and he's not going to be a household name, but he will make the team, and he will make people. He will be one of those guys like a TJ McCollum. He will put more effort out. He may not have all the skill, but he will put all the effort out to make you believe that he's a worthwhile player, to hold on to.
Well, he's showing me something. He has a jump shot that's consistent, and I think once he gets stronger, put a little bit more muscle on, he'll attack better and finish at the rim a lot better. Yeah, man. I now the team I gave you, is that going to win a championship next year? I'm not going to sit up here and say that. I can't say that.
I wouldn't know.
But I believe that they will put them back in the playoffs.
Okay.
Because McCain's a sniper. He was on his way to win a Rookie of the Year. He was on his way, and the kid can shoot, and that's what the Sixers lack. You got Grimes. You put him back there with Maxey. That's a duo I can't wait to see. We talked about Edwards and Bona. Bona's ready to take that next step. So you have, I think, a nurse with these guys that he at least has a consistent lineup. You can start to see what we have. So that's where I'm at with them. I mean, again, will it win the championship next year? No. Will it get out the second round? I don't know that either. But I believe that they can build off of that because this has been a horrific season, and it's because of the injuries. It's because of the injuries.
Yeah.
Now, my question, and Dame, you kind of touched on it a little bit. So if the Sixers get the 5 or 6 seed or 5 or 6 draft pick, my feeling is this is a team that could be on that precipice going right back to the playoffs. So you're not going to be like, okay, we're getting the 5 or 6 pick now just because, and we're going to hold on to our draft picks because we could get, the 5 or 6 pick next year. We're looking for a top 5. No, what I would say is, would you take some of the capital that you have in the trade in the draft stock and take that 5th pick and flip it for either the 2 or the 1st and go and get a guy that is going to be a top tier, top line guy
Mhm.
that regardless if it's Embiid and like you're saying, like if you get a top 2 guy, if you get a
Mhm.
guy in 1 or 2, you're not putting him off the bench.
Mm-mm.
You're putting him in the starting lineup.
Mhm.
So you're talking about a guy that potentially, if you're looking at Oubre, Maxey, player X, Paul George, and Joel Embiid. Now,
Mhm.
whether that's Cooper Flag or whether that's any of the other guys you mentioned, my
Mhm.
question is, do you see the Sixers taking that 5th or 6th pick
Mhm.
and just saying we're not satisfied with picking in 5th and 6th?
Mhm.
We're going to put all the capital in there and trade up to first and second overall pick. Do you see that happening with the Sixers?
Well, let me just say it right now. They're in the 5th spot. You want to be in the 5th and then get inching closer to the 4th spot.
Mhm.
I know. I'm sorry, James. We're back to tanking. I'm sorry, brother. I did not want you to go through
And
another tankathon in your life again. I really did.
I'm used to it, honestly.
No, no,
I'm not even
no.
disappointed. I'm like,
This is our first time in 7 years not being in the playoffs. However, going back to,
oh,
to Joey's question, so you want to stay above 6 because if it goes below 6, it goes to OKC. We don't want that.
Yeah.
So you want to stay in that 5th
boy.
spot. They have a chance to move up to the 4th slot. They get into the 4th slot, Joe. Sometimes in the ping pong, they say guys that got whatever. You might be able to slip up to 2, maybe 1. Let's say to your point, they don't have to trade anything. They slip up into number 2 slot or even the 1. If you bring in a Cooper Flag or you bring in an Ace Bailey, kid out of Rutgers, dynamite, 6'10" forward, or the guy Quinn from Maryland, another big, because they don't need, by the way, no guards. The Sixers have enough guards to secure a bank. Okay? We don't need any more guards. We're done. We're guarded out. No more guards. Seriously. You go for some wings or another big man, and you already have a big in Bona, right? Just to secure for
Well, is
Joe.
Cooper Flag a guard?
He's a
Or
power forward. He's a small. I think he's a small forward. I gotta look at it
okay,
again.
okay.
But he's
All
not a
right.
guard. I don't think he's a
Oh,
guard.
okay.
I
All
think
right.
he's a small forward. I could be wrong. I'll
Okay.
Google that.
As long as he's not a guard, because
yeah,
that's what I was thinking. Okay,
But
go
here's
ahead.
the thing about a player like these guys, right? And I'm gonna watch him this week, and I've been into the tournament, the Final Four. Joe, they don't have to come to a team like the Wizards and carry the team. He already has players, established players on this team with the Embiids, with the Maxis, with the Oubres, and so forth, that you can slide this player in and he could build off of it. He could just add to that. He doesn't have to carry the team. Just like Maxey, when we got Maxey, we stole Maxey. He didn't have to come in and carry the team. He was able to add and add his talent to the team. So a player like that is in a really solid position to come to the Sixers because regardless of what people feel about Joe, and I know the guy said Joe was soft. I want to address that. The thing about that is you still have a dynamite player or players on the team that you can come in and that player X can come in and just add his talent to the team and help get us back to at least to the playoffs and make us a viable contender down the lane. And you're also now turning the tide so James gets his wish like my brother. My brother wants them to build around Maxey and James. I know you do, but now you can start turning that team over to the younger players because you do have a nice. And these guys I laid out. This is not me making. These guys can play. All these guys that I mentioned can actually play. They just have to get time to play together.
Now, here's something to think about. I don't think this is, and this is maybe to give some hope to some Sixers fans, even though there's not much there to begin with right now.
Sure,
But here's what I'm getting at. This has been if we get like a player at 1 or 2, like a Cooper Flag or an Ace Bailey, like you're saying, like the thing that this would be unprecedented in my mind. I don't recall there being like a number 1 overall, number 2 overall pick being taken by a team that's already as well constructed, almost like a super team, as the Sixers are. And you got to keep something in mind. People might not still see the Sixers as a super team, but if Paul George is able to come back healthy, if Joel Embiid is able to sustain something, and I agree with you, Damon, it's the Joel Embiid of 38-minute games and 40-minute games is over. I think you got to manage this guy's minutes going forward. And that's not to say, okay, he's going to have 23 minutes. Well, that's not a max guy. If people recall correctly, Joel Embiid in 30 minutes was able to score 35 points. Like, this is a guy who can fill the stat sheet quickly. He doesn't need a lot of time.
No.
So for me, it's like if you limit his minutes to 26 or 27 minutes a game, you have two options kind of help that. Number one, you help the B line guys get more experience coming in pressure situations. Number two, you preserve that guy for longer. This is not about like trying to wear and tear him anymore. This is now about preservation. And I still think if George comes back healthy and Embiid comes back where it's manageable, and Maxey and Player X and Oubre, like
and Grimes, they're going
and
to
Grimes
Grimes.
And McCain and all
Yes.
that, like there's not much of a problem for this team to really flip the script next season. It really isn't. And you got to keep another thing in mind. There's some teams like Boston, New York. There's teams like Atlanta. There's teams like Chicago. Like they're gonna fall off because contracts are gonna start to come to pass, and they're not gonna be able to hold on to all their players. So where some of these teams are on the rise, and it seems like the Sixers are on the decline, there could be some hope down the road, especially if this player, like if we get a Cooper Flag or an Ace Bailey, he's going to make a difference because he doesn't have to be the guy that carries the team.
Right.
He just has to be a guy that can kind of complement everybody else.
Exactly. And going back to a couple things, Cooper Flag is 6'9", by the way. He's that power forward, and he can score, he can rebound. So when I say Joe's minutes, I'm because I've been looking at this thing with this load management. I think load management not only hurts the team as far as cohesiveness, but it hurts the player. Oh, I'm resting the player, but sometimes you have to catch a rhythm. Like I do 3 days on, 1 day off. That's my running schedule, right? Sometimes it changes due to the weather. But if you say to the man, listen, we're playing Toronto Tuesday night, and then tomorrow we're playing I don't know the New Orleans Hornets, the
Hornets,
the Pelicans. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, the Pelicans. Instead of playing you 32 minutes, I'm going to play you 27 minutes. Now you're still playing, but to Joe's point, you're less minutes. So now there's no load management, and to me, that's going to only strengthen you and strengthen the knee. But to just say you're not going to play at all, now I got to ramp up again. Just let me go to the call. You know, the guy Murphy said, and I know James didn't read the text. I read it about being soft. I often hear that about Joe. Guys, I'm sorry, man. That's just weak. The man, if you look at his history of injuries, and people may not like what I'm about to say, Markelle Fultz hits him in the face. Siakam hits him in the face. Kuminga falls on his leg. I mean, his face. I mean, it's freaky. It's a frustrating. Heck yeah, I love the guy. You guys know I love watching Joe play, but it's freaky and frustrating at the same time. Like, Dad, how can this happen? But when people call him soft, I'm offended by that. Because he went out and played Joe last year in the playoffs when he really wasn't supposed to. People got upset that he played in the Olympics. I don't have a problem with that. That's for another day. But he came back sooner than what he was supposed to. So to call him soft, it's kind of weak, man. You can't be soft and put up those kind of numbers. You just can't be. And he plays both sides of the court. He just does.
Here's my thing, and this is how I'll respond to soft, okay? So he's not soft in some regards in the sense that this is a guy who plays through some big time injuries. He has. He had a broken face. He had Bell's palsy. Like, this is a guy who's played.
Not funny. It's just the way you said it.
Like, he had a broken face. Yeah. I mean, his face was broken. But like, so like I get it. We're used to having AI where the guy you think he's like put together or left together with bubble gum and scotch tape. Like, we get it. Yeah. But like, here's the thing with Joel Embiid, and there was a buddy of mine that used to agree with me in this. Joel Embiid plays different for his body type. Like he plays like a guy who's 6'2"
He
with
does.
his body and his skill, but his body type is 7'2",
Yeah.
300 pounds. Sometimes you don't realize, like when you're flopping around, he's not taking the right calculated risks. He's got
I
to
agree
do
with that.
risk assessment.
I agree
And
with that.
so, like, if you're diving like a 747 across the damn basketball court for a ball that,
We don't
like,
want
in a
that.
regular season game
We
against
don't
the
need that.
Charlotte Hornets, it ain't helping your cause, dude.
No,
Like,
we don't need that.
you
That's
don't
what
need
happened
that.
with Kuminga. He fell to the ground against the Warriors, and Kuminga, which
Yeah.
pissing me off, fell on his leg. But whatever. But yeah, I agree with you. He can't be reckless. That's the thing. That's the thing.
Right. So I don't agree that he's soft because he's played through injuries. I do feel like he doesn't help his own cause.
I agree with that.
But whether it's like taking care of his body to get recovered, or taking care of his body with nutrition, or making the ideal, like, don't dive on the ball against the Charlotte Hornets in game 10 of the damn season. Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Let Maxey do it. Let some other smaller guy do it.
Do it.
And then you can call them out if they don't do it. But, like, look, you're the leader. You're supposed to be the general. You don't need to be the soldier anymore. You have to lead by example. You have to lead by what you say. And that's where I think Maxey kind of took a step forward.
Yeah.
Because this season he put Embiid on notice. If you don't want to show up to practice on time, then don't expect me to respect you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that, and I think that they are. By the way, for people who haven't seen it, they did a clip. They went shopping at a thrift store. He and Maxey. So they're tight, man. Listen, I know people like James. I don't want to speak for you. Wouldn't mind seeing them traded, and I get your feelings on that. I had this conversation with my brother. I guess for me, because I've seen such greatness with the guy, and I just want him to win something here. You know, it's just because every time we let great players go, they wind up doing something great somewhere else. And I just hate to see that happen. But I don't know how that's going to go. I don't know if they would move him. I don't know. I don't think they will. I think they're going to try to see if it works out. But you know, I wouldn't be surprised. I'll put it like that. Nothing surprised me in sports anymore. So that's where I'm at with that.
Joey, I think you're muted, buddy.
Joe, can you hear us?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so James, go ahead.
I mean, the other thing too with the Embiid thing, I mean, the thing is just that it's kind of strange a little bit. Obviously, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm pretty exhausted by watching them.
I understand. Yeah, no,
I mean, it's just like 1 minute it's like one thing, and then there's like another thing too. So, I mean, like I said, it's no knock on like you guys. I mean, you guys make very good points. I mean, I agree with what you guys are saying on everything that you're saying about that. But yeah, but the thing about it too, it's just that after a while, it's like the same old song and dance, and you hear like Nick Nurse get playing once in a while and bitch and moan every once in a blue moon. But I mean, after a while, it's just like even Joey alluded to with the tush push. It's like sour grapes at this point too.
I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
You guys got me. So like,
we go, dude.
Here's my thing about Embiid. Like, people who want to trade him, this is the thing. The value isn't there. I'm always a guy that like wants to get the value.
I agree.
My feeling is the value isn't there anymore. So you already paid the guy $60 million. I know people. It sounds insulting when you say it, but you're committed to him now. You have to make it work now. So for all those people who are like, oh, we need to trade him, I'm like, first off, you're not going to get the return. So is it really worth trading him?
You're going to get a 2045 first round pick.
If you're lucky,
that's nothing for me. A 2045 first round pick.
But you can't run it. But you can't run it back though, like with the same group of guys.
No.
You know what I mean?
I don't think anyone's saying that, James. I think you have to change the way that it's perceived, and that's where me and Damon are going with the minutes. Like. You can't run it back. Like when you're saying running it back, you give the perception like we're going to run him back where Embiid's playing 40 minutes a game like he used to. This ain't the Embiid that it was before.
Right.
But can Joel Embiid give you a strong 25 minutes? Yeah, he can. And as a guy who had
if he's lucky though, that's the most important thing too.
I mean, here's the thing. It's not just lucky because he's talented. We both know that. You can admit that. He's talented.
I'm with you.
But here's the thing. He's got to stay healthy. Like, if the guy can't stay
Agreed.
upright, you can't do anything.
100%.
But I could tell you, as a guy who's also had his knee scoped and has had work done on his knee, what I can tell you is, and Damon hit the nail right on the head. If you are keeping that player going, then you're keeping that body warm. If you're playing him 40 minutes one day and take him the day off the next day, that's not helping his knee. If you're splitting that time between 2 games, the back-to-backs, and 25 minutes, number one, you're putting a good guy, a good player in the lineup 2 games versus just one. And number two, you're doing something for him where it's keeping his knee warm. James, you're
and the team, you're keeping them in sync. Yeah.
Right. You're a baseball guy, James. You know that if a pitcher has a lingering injury or a player has a lingering injury, he has to keep his body warm.
That's
he
fair.
has to keep that muscle loose.
That's right.
Right. So with Joel, it's the same concept. If you let him sit for a whole 2 or 3 days without playing, that knee is going to stiffen up. And I can tell you from experience, that's not a good feeling.
No.
It tightens up. You feel like your leg is like straight, parallel. It's locked. It's not a good feeling. And that's where I think a lot of, okay, we're not going to play him because his knee's locked up. Okay. But if he played every game for less minutes, there's a chance. Now, are you going to get the 50-point scorer? No. But you're still going to get a guy who's going to drop 30 and 10.
Yeah.
Like, Joel Embiid can do that in his sleep. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter if he's got no legs. He still has hands. Like, he still has talent.
Yeah, and he's still going to be the presence on defense. And the other thing, to your point, Joey, you don't need him to do that. You have a Maxey. You're going to have a Grimes.
Right.
You're going to have a McCain who's going to be a sniper coming off
and you have the
bench.
player X, and you have
the
Paul
player
George.
X. Yeah.
You have guys that don't have, like, we talk about how player X doesn't have to be the star.
Mm-hmm.
And I say this without trying to be insulting. But Joel, you're not the star anymore, and that's okay.
It's okay, yeah.
But you have to take that step back and understand that. You can't be the diva anymore. You have to be you're the veteran now. You're the wily veteran now. You have to play that role.
You have to be like Kareem was to Magic. When Magic came to the Lakers, Kareem said, "Young fellas, this is your team." But Kareem, as you know, was a truly integral part in winning the championship. That's not an insult. So that's why I go back to saying, you run it through the offense through Maxey. Let Maxey get off. Let's let Maxey get. Joe, you're going to get yours. You know you're going to get to the free throw line. We know you could hit your jumper, your mid-range jumper. I think what happened with Paul George, because I was saying recently, I was like, damn, does he fit? They haven't had a chance to play together to find out where everyone's supposed to be. So that's why I'm not completely sold on getting rid of Paul George. One, it's a lot of money. You don't want to waste it. If you can move him, fine. If not, you see what you can do.
Let me ask you a question, James. If Joel Embiid next season plays 72 games, right? So just hear me out.
I know.
Okay, he plays 72
regular
games.
season. We ain't talking playoffs. We're going to do playoffs later.
72 games. He plays 72 games. He averages 26 minutes a game. He averages 29 points and 9 rebounds a game.
Mm-hmm.
You telling me that you're not going to be okay with that?
Depends.
I love it, James. James depends. James goes, depends on how many playoff games. I
love James.
You can win. And I get it.
I love James because he's so steadfast on his point. And look, I love you for that. I love you for that.
I appreciate it, buddy.
That's fine. Let's move on to a team that we can all cheer for. And
hold on, real quick.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, James. Go ahead, James. Finish your thought. I just want to ask you something.
No. I mean, that will be the ultimate, like, that would be great if, honestly, I'm just saying it right now, and I think we lost you again, Joe, with your mic again. Sorry, buddy. So, the thing about it too is that drives me crazy with the Embiid thing is just that, I mean, I'm sure 72 games like that. That's actually, if he actually could play 72, that's pretty bold. I would say it's like really bold. But honestly, do I see it happening? No, I don't. I just don't. I don't know why. I think there's a possibility of like that it could happen. I mean, look, I would love them for him to play full 82 games if that's the case.
100%.
But
Yeah, 100%.
but at the same time, I mean, seeing his lack of injuries and also the injuries that he suffered and all this stuff and X, Y, and Z, and it's no knock on you guys. You guys can make very, very good points and valid points, but
Right.
I don't know, man. I just don't see it.
Okay, that's fair. Before we go to the next one, do real quick, James.
Sure.
The firing of Tortorelli and Miss
Yeah.
what are you thinking? And I know we gotta go to the Phillies, Joe. I'm not trying to. I just because I haven't had a chance to talk to you guys.
That's fine.
I
No.
ask you a quick question, real quick.
That's
How do you
fine.
feel about it? And moving forward, what do you think they'll do?
Well, right now, I think what they're playing with how they are with Bradshaw is I actually think it's a good unit. I think we'll be okay. Mitch Goff has been playing well.
Yeah.
If he's not the Calder Trophy winner this year, and there's just something wrong with the league because he's just been tearing it the hell up, you know.
Yeah. I got invited to a game last week. I couldn't make it, but I wish I could have. But go ahead. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. Don't worry about it. It's all good. So yeah, I mean the Tortorella thing. I mean the way it sounded to me now, it kind of like I alluded to in one of my pre-games. I said kind of like a Dick Vermeil when he resigned. He said, you know what, I've had enough. I've seen enough. I'm burnt down. I'm tired. You know, I gotta get out when I do. I mean, basically went AWOL without saying AWOL.
Well, yeah, and also for him to bench Mitch Goff a couple of games. You can't do that, dude.
I never understood that either.
Joey. You can't. You're talking about benching players. You can't do that.
You can.
That's the face of the franchise. You can't do it without any explanation. So,
Okay.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you.
Yeah,
Fool
that's all
me
I
three
got for that.
times, that bleeps on you.
Here's my thing. So this is where I kind of push back on that.
Mhm.
So I agree that you have to be the tough parent because he's
Yeah.
a 19-year-old kid. So kids need to be told, and Dame, you know this. We both teach kids. We
Yeah.
both teach teenagers. You know, like
Yeah.
you know this. Like sometimes you have to put them in their place,
Yeah.
and because they think their britches are bigger than they are. And guess what? You have to show them that they're not.
Yeah.
And John Tortorella was the right guy to do that. However, I think
To an
John's,
extent, though.
but I think John's britches got too big. Like he got too big for his britches because he thought, okay, I'm the parent in the room. Everyone's going to listen to me. No, because when you yell and yell and yell, at some point, and I've learned this myself, when you yell and yell and yell at kids, they start to tune you out. And that's all they hear. It becomes white noise. And so with John Tortorella, I believe that somewhat the way that he was yelling and being like the tough coach, it just started they started to tune him out. And you could tell. I mean, me and James did a lot of the post games, and I remember telling James a lot. It just seemed like they had a lack of energy, a lack of fight, a lack of like,
I've been
I want to
watching
do
games,
this because of my coach telling me I should do it.
Yeah, almost like they were robotic at times during the game.
Yeah, definitely.
I wish them well, though. But so yes, yeah, good stuff. So I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
With the next team that we're going to talk about, they had a great win last night against the LA Dodgers.
Love it.
Giving the Dodgers their first loss. I thought the Dodgers were the creme de la creme. You come to Philly, bitch, you better know where you are. I just gotta tell you that right now. You better know where you are. Because you come to CBP, it's a whole different ball game.
It's a whole different show, my friend.
So here's my thing. So this Phillies team, had came into this season with a lot of question marks because there wasn't a lot done. There wasn't a lot of turnover. There wasn't a lot of additions. There weren't big splashes in the offseason. So I got to ask you, Dame, last night's win and the rest of this Dodgers series and with the season we've seen so far. And can I just mention this? Tywin Walker?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Balled out the other night against Colorado.
I'm like, yo, you give me 10 or 20 more of those starts, like 10 or 15 more of those starts, I'm good. You could sit, you could go to Bahamas, you could sit down there, you fine. You bridge us to Andrew. You bridge us to Andrew Painter. I'm good. You go. Have a cocktail and a pina colada on me.
You know something. The way he was talking about it after the game, he looked like he was just like Like he looked more relaxed too. He actually looked more and more relaxed. I think that's the most important thing with Taiwan Walker. Because like last year he was like, yeah, he probably had to do too much. He had to like basically, in the words of like Archie Bunker of All in the Family, he stifled himself a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's the most important.
Leave it to James to
awesome.
throw a reference out there that's like 3 times his age.
He's
I mean,
that's
like
awesome.
James, you wouldn't even thought of when All in the Family was
Yeah,
out.
I'm like,
Well,
yo, man, that's a classic.
You weren't
Yeah,
even a
that's a great
sparkle in
show.
your dad's eye.
That's
So,
well, I mean, I'm 30 years old, but technically I'm 60.
yeah, we haven't. The blood
That's
test
awesome.
hasn't come back yet.
Yeah,
but
no.
but Damon, what do you think about last night's win, and what do you think about this team overall, with their fast start? Like, what's your impression?
Well, let me go back. Last night's one was huge. Stinking the Apple TV. I mean, I don't mind listening on the radio, but so we get no Friday night baseball games. Like that sucks, man. Anyway, so James, you want to say something? I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was gonna say, by the way, there is a thing you could put out on the Apple TV. It's actually really cool that you actually can connect your TV to Fransky and Stocker on Apple TV too. There's like a thing on the setting there.
Oh, really? Oh, so it's probably cool. Okay.
Yeah, I did it last night, and that was actually really cool.
Yeah, man. It's like they could say what they want to say. They said prior to the game, I heard there was a report that they're something about, and I'm paraphrasing, not really worrying about the Dodgers like that. I'm paraphrasing, but of course you are. They're the champs. They've been your rivals since I was a kid. Okay, that's all. You talk about a rivalry that goes way back when I was a little boy. Okay, Joe,
Gary Matthews and whatnot.
That goes way back when I was a little boy. From
Gary Matthews.
Well, Gary Maddox and those dudes and Boa and I see their manager. I came from
Dallas Green.
No.
The Dodgers manager.
Dodgers manager.
Tommy Lasorda. Yeah.
Because what happened was, let me go back, James.
The old man troll.
The Phillies would win and they would get to the playoffs, and the Dodgers would knock you out. They couldn't beat the Dodgers, right?
Yeah.
The Dodgers were going to play the Yankees in the World Series. So that rivalry is ancient. So no, that's a big win. 3-2 against the champion on your home field. So
undefeated.
And they were undefeated, yes. So now you're what it does is it just allows you to establishes you as one of the top teams in the National League, and it's going to hopefully keep that train ride rolling all the way through to October. It's a long season, as we know. I didn't expect a lot out of the Phillies because they didn't change the lineup. I know they added Lazaros, the pitcher.
He was on fire last night, man.
Yeah, and so that's a huge pickup. And I give Dombrowski credit. He's always able, Joe, to find these guys in the off season that we don't think we know about, but not like, oh, okay, this guy's pretty good. The thing is, man, and I like his role. He's accepted his role because he calls himself the sixth man. Is Sosa. Sosa's going to be.
Yeah.
You know how I said we missed. My God, I went to Milwaukee. Our first baseman,
Segura.
Reese.
Hoskins.
Reese Hoskins. He's going to make up our Reese. He's going to make up our Reese. He's going to make up our Reese, Joe. And I say that because he's accepted his role of coming off the bench or filling in when he needs to. He's accepted that because he calls himself the sixth man, which is a great compliment to him. And he goes out and he produces. So when you have a guy, and everyone in the clubhouse apparently loves him. So when you have a guy like that, that's because you're going to have those guys, like the Turners, and they're going to go through their ups and their downs. My question to you guys is, how do you feel about Turner starting leading off, and then he switches off every now and then to Schwarber? I know what I personally like, but I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
James, I'll let you go first.
Well, if this was like 3 weeks ago, I would be like, this is not a good move. But now 3 weeks later, I like it. I think it's because like here's the thing with Rob Thompson, and I think we can all agree here. Sometimes when somebody argues a lineup and see what they look like, Toppy knows exactly what he's doing with the lineups. I mean, everybody should actually say. I mean, the thing about what Trey Turner was obviously the years that he had like 2 years ago with 2023 with the standing ovation and then a little bit of a slippage of his game last year. This was actually something that I was saying to myself, okay, now Trey Turner has to be the guy to step up now. Obviously, he has to be in that leadoff role, and even sometimes, like you even mentioned, like he switches with Schwarber and Turner every once in a while if it's a left-handed pitcher or a right-handed pitcher. But hey, look, it's working. I mean, that's the most important thing. I think that's going to probably what's going to look like down the road. I mean, that's going to be the biggest key here. But right now, I mean, so far so good.
So for me, I disliked it. Because I felt like, I went back and I mentioned this in a prior show. Like, I remember Dame back in '08 from like '07 to 2011.
Mm-hmm.
You could wake up in the morning and you could be ready for a Phillies game and you know who's batting where.
Yeah.
You know Jimmy Rollins and Shane are at the top. Sometimes they alternate between 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
You knew Chase was number 3 and you knew Ryan was number 4.
Right.
You knew that either Ibanez or Burrow or Worth was number 5.
Or Aaron Rowan, yep.
You knew Chooch was down towards 8.
Yep.
You knew that. So, like, there were certain people you knew where they were. And I felt like that gave a lot more consistency. Now, I get it. If Frank Finnegan was here, he would say, but Joe, that's not how the game's played anymore. Yeah, I know. I understand that. But what I'm getting at is this, is that it bothers me that there can't be more consistency. And I brought this up to Jim Jachesko and Bill Furman. I feel like if you're a hitter, if you're a professional hitter, it shouldn't matter if it's a lefty or a righty on the mound. A pitcher's the pitcher. The ball comes out. You should hit it. It's not rocket science. For me, I would rather have there be more consistency in the lineup. However, the Trey Turner experiment's working. So for now, I'm okay with it. But if you here's the food for thought to kind of give a little perspective on it. When Kyle Schwarber's the one leading off this year, they've struggled offensively. And so, like, when Trey Turner's leading off, they haven't. And I think it has a lot to do, and this is what people are missing. So Damon brought up Amundo Sosa. Amundo Sosa has been batting towards the bottom of the lineup, the 7-8 hole hitter. And another guy that's been stepping up has been Brandon Marsh and Johan Rojas.
Yes.
Because here's the thing. So when you have the 8 and 9 hitter that's able to bat over 400 in the last 10 games, or I'm sorry, 400 in the last 5 games. When you have your 8 or 9 hitter that's batting that well, it does help that guy like Turner and Harper to turn the batting order over and for Harper and Turner to do some damage. It's not just the leadoff. People are like, oh, the leadoff is just the first at bat. Yes, you're right. But like when you can turn the batting order over and you can then have a guy that now you go through murderer's row again with Turner, Harper, Baum, Schwarber, Castellanos, and all that. When you go through more murderer's row again, that pitcher gets in a lot of trouble. And you saw that against the Rockies and the Nationals. Yeah. So my feeling is this. Do I love the inconsistency? No. Is it working? Yes. So for now, I say, okay, I'm on board with it, but I reserve the right to change my mind later because of the idea that I want to have consistency.
Right.
And that's really where it kind of boils down to. I want consistency.
I'm with you. If I could piggyback off of what both you guys said, I'm with you, Joe. And I'm a consistent guy. The way I wake up, my routine's the same. That's just me personally. Certain things I just like to have.
Yeah,
consistent order. I eat my dinner at a certain time. It's just me, right? So when it comes to my basketball lineups, I want to see. I don't want to see load management. I want to see my lineup. I want to see the tush push when I need to see the tush push. I need consistency, right?
Right.
So I think that a lot of this is driven by analytics. And if Frank Finnegan was here, that's just the way it is. You guys know how I feel about analytics. It's cobwebs to me. It really is. It's like I think baseball out of all the sports is just way just overthought. Like it's just too much. And like Joey said, ball comes out the pitcher's glove, you see what you look for it and you swing. That's it, or you don't swing. All that other stuff I can do without.
Yeah.
So going back to Rojas and watching the other day, I'm like, wow. They said if this guy Kruk and Tommy was like, if this guy can hit singles like that, that's going to help the lineup. We don't need you to hit. If you can hit a bomb here and there, great. But if you can just get on base, man, because we know you can steal, you just changes everything. So I think if we can continue to play like that and garner that consistency, hopefully it'll take away less of his analytics. I know that's Topper's thing. He sleeps with the analytics book at night between him and his wife. I mean, that's his thing. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, that's who you are. Fine. But I can do without analytics. It's because it becomes mush to me. It just all that at the end of the day. And people
it gets complicated.
It does. And I'm a math guy too, James. I love math. I love numbers, but I don't need that in my sports. Only numbers I need in my sports is scores.
Right.
And determines wins and losses. All that other stuff. Well, in the third inning, when the wind blows from the northwest, Harper can hit a home run from this to I don't give a two smacks about that. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying?
I've said this to James. Like,
hilarious of what Hurricane sports of.
What does that mean to me?
I said this to James several times, and I'll drop his name here. A guy like Spike Eskin that gives me the heebie-jeebies in the way he talks about Jalen Hurts, because he'll go into these like analytics, these stats, and I'm going, dude. What's the most important thing in a game? To win. That's the most important thing. Like,
winning.
I don't
That's
care.
it.
I don't care. Like, how do you get a championship? How do you raise the trophy? Do you get it by having the most strikeouts? No. You get it by winning the game.
Yeah.
You play to win the game. Thank you, Herm Edwards.
I was going to say, in the words of Herm Edwards, you play to win the game. Yeah, exactly.
Play to win the game. You don't play for this stat and that stat and this stat. You play to win the game. So, like, I don't care if you told me that the Phillies are going to win the World Series, but the great Zach Wheeler is going to have like a 3 ERA. I'm going to go, I don't care. They won the World Series. What's the point? Like, I don't care. You just said they won the World Series. Like, why do I care what Wheeler's ERA was? Well, because it wasn't as good as it usually is. Again, why do I care what his ERA was if we won the World Series? That's the only thing that matters. That's what bothers me. It's like if Bryce is batting 240, we won the World Series. What matters? I don't care. I don't care if he strikes out 20 times. We won the World Series. Fine.
Well, to allude to Spike's point to it also, because like he's like one, I don't know who it was on WIP saying, oh, well, Jalen Hurts didn't technically win. Well, I don't know what it was. He said something about Jalen Hurts was like they win the game for him. But I'm thinking like, we won the Super Bowl. What more you want from the guy?
He was saying that the only thing that Jalen did was play the last 2 games well. And I said, well, that's
so did Nick Foles.
But
Nick Foles.
But hang on. But don't you have to play the last 2 games well in order to win the Super Bowl or win a championship? Don't you have to play the last 2 games of the season well?
He just skipped over the Rams game. My wife and I were going to the old school hip hop concert. We literally checked into the hotel. He gets the ball and runs, I think, for a touchdown on first day. What are we doing?
Right.
Seriously, what are we doing?
This is why, like, when it comes to the Phillies, I have to see the game, be aware of what's going on. That's why I can sit there and say, okay, we said Rojas isn't as good as we want. Okay, fine. But Enamundo, he's just a bench piece. Okay, but now they're sitting here turning around 2 weeks later saying, well, Enamundo needs to have more starting lineup spots. Okay, wait a minute. All of a sudden, you went from this guy as a bench piece to he should be in the starting lineup. Like, what are we doing here?
You know why? Because that increases the analytics number. I can give a damn about analytics. If you want to talk to me about sports, like we do here, let's have at it. But if you want to change this show to analytics, I can't. I
don't give a rat's ass about analytics.
I gives me a headache. I swear to you, James, it gives me a headache.
Analytics. Especially with the next gen stats and all that stuff too. I just like what?
No. Well, when we talk about there's Yoda and then there's Goba. And I don't care about either.
Or Yo Gabba Gabba.
Yeah, like it's not Yo Gabba Gabba good kids. Like, I'm done with that. But here's my thing. So let's take analytics out. Let's talk about the Dodgers series and the Braves series. After the Dodgers, we go to Atlanta. Now these are back-to-back series. Now Atlanta's not playing well.
They just won their first game yesterday. I'm blowing my mind.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
So
that's crazy.
10-0, but they won their first game.
My question:
what did they beat? Miami? What was it? The Marlins?
I think it was 10.
I think it was the Marlins.
So my question to you guys is: with these two series, the Dodgers and the Braves, what do you guys predict is going to happen in the next couple of games? Damon, I'll start with you.
I mean, they could, if they win today with the Dodgers, they might lose tomorrow. You know what I mean? I think they'll want to. I think they're going to win the series against the Dodgers. Let me say that they'll wind up winning the series. However they decided, they'll win the series. With the Braves, same thing. They'll go out and beat those guys. But I think for the Phillies, for me, I would like to see them just build a consistency. What hurt them last year is that they chased pitches against the Mets, in particularly. And you saw what happened when the Dodgers laid off of pitches against the Mets. They got walked. They got a lot of, they got on base a lot with a lot of walks. So the Phillies, for me, from this point moving forward, continue to win series. That's what you do in a regular season. Mm-hmm. But also establish consistency from the lineup from 1 through 8 or 1 through 9, whatever the case, 1 through 8. It was 1 through 8, yeah. In the lineup, and that. So moving forward, so then when you do get to October baseball, that muscle's already established. That muscle's established as far as, I know you're going to have some ups and downs with games. I'm not saying that. That's unrealistic for me to say, they're never going to strike out. No, I know that. But find that level of consistency at the plate so that you know how to take a pitch and just stop swinging at nonsense. And that would be a great leap for me.
So I'm gonna do a product placement ad here. I'm gonna and don't worry, James, this isn't one that's on our slides. This is a product placement ad. There's such a thing as called shower pedals, and what they are little things you put on the bottom of your shower so you don't slip. Freddie Freeman, look into it. You make a lot of money. You shouldn't be slipping in a shower and tweaking your ankle.
That's
like
Wait, is that how he got hurt?
Yes, he came out of
wow.
He
my God.
He slipped in a shower at home.
And he tweaked
his ankle.
Wow. Oh my God.
So that's why he's not playing. He's on the IL right now.
So,
dude, there's something you can get him at Amazon. Hell, you get him at the dollar store.
You can get him at Amazon.
Yeah, you get him at Amazon. You get him at the dollar store. They're little things they keep you from slipping in the shower.
Jesus.
It's not that hard. I know you had to use the guest bathroom, but rich guy problems. I'm just saying. So,
the more you know, I guess.
James, what's your take on the Braves and Dodgers series?
Well, I would say the Phillies will win 2 out of 3, like Damon alluded to too. So if they could sweep the Dodgers, that'd be pretty amazing on a mid too. But the thing about it with the Dodgers is that I think either today or tomorrow will be like the Dodgers will probably win one of those games, obviously, depending on who they got as their pitcher started today. So I would be sure if maybe today will be the day that they actually do probably lose the game to the Dodgers come back today and they come back and bounce back tomorrow. But it depends on the.
You got Nola on the mound today, and you got
that's the thing too. Depending on what Nola does, and also who, what they have pitching tomorrow. Who they have? Well, Sanchez is pitching tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
I would be sure. Yeah. So I could see Sanchez win that game for them tomorrow. But anywho, with the Braves, this could be a series that I really thought that it was going to be probably could be like back and forth. But the way the Braves have lost, I said, you know what, Phillies could beat them. I think the Phillies could beat.
I haven't kept up with the Braves. I gotta check in. Like, what's
Yeah, me
going
neither.
on? Are,
Yeah, me neither.
any injured players, Joey, that we don't like?
And I think they lost a lot of players in the
They
I think they
lost.
lost Freed. They lost
Yeah.
a couple
They
players
lost
in
a
free
pitcher, right?
agency.
They lost one of their key pitchers. No,
Yeah, I think they
Yeah.
lost Freed, and then they lost
Yeah, they did.
somebody else too in
Charlie.
the process.
I think it was
Charlie
Charlie
Morton. Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you,
Charlie
Joe.
Morton. Yeah, so did the
Yeah.
Yankees. The Yankees lost a pitcher too.
So
Yeah,
I mean,
and that's
the
torpedo
thing.
that's been killing like the league.
Yeah, I
Has.
know. Yeah,
That's the thing is like
Jesus.
pitching. Here's the thing: is when you lose pitching, you're reliant on your offense. When you
Yeah.
lose that much pitching, you're reliant strictly on your offense carrying the day. That's why the Phillies are such a good team
Right.
because they have good. If you know the starting pitching stays healthy and the lineup can stay healthy, this is a really powerful team because they have a balanced lineup and they have really one of the better rotations in the league. And yeah, okay. So the big hiccup is the bullpen. We understand that. And I thought about this long and hard, James. Me and you had a conversation a couple years ago, back in 2022, on this
Yeah.
show. And
Yeah.
I said to you, you asked me what's the biggest concern you have for the Phillies this season. I said the bullpen. I'm
Right.
worried about the bullpen.
Right.
And look how far that got us. We got to the World Series
Yeah.
with that shaky of a bullpen. And
Right.
look, that's not to say that this bullpen can't straighten up and fly right. That's to say that this rotation, and if you look at the rotation that we had, the starting rotation we had in 22 and the starting rotation we have now, you would almost say this starting rotation that we have now is comparable to 2011.
You think
So
you know what's funny, Joe? I brought this up to my dad last night about like the four aces that we had in 2011 with
Yeah.
Oswald, it's not with Roy Halladay, Hamels, Lee, and even Oswald, and even like John Bland in between there too. I mean, it's a very. I said to myself, it's starting to feel like that a little bit too. Good.
yeah, and I mean, like, so I'm going to go out on a limb. The Philadelphia Phillies will sweep the LA Dodgers and they will sweep the Atlanta Braves. There will be by this time next week they would have had a 9-game win streak.
Nice, Joey.
Wow,
Joey,
that's crazy, man.
So I'll say this, and I need this from him because I'm a Nola fan. I watched his last outing, and I knew he had he struck a guy out. He had hit a batter on the foot by mistake, and I said, "Oh, here comes trouble." And he got away with an elevated pitch, Joe. And then the next batter, took him yard. And I said, damn it, Nola. I don't know if it's the catcher calling the game, but you can't elevate your pitches, man. And I think that hurts him every time. And he gives one, and he wound up getting up another one, which, caused the game. If he could just find a way in that fourth or fifth inning, to mentally going back to the mental state, find a way out of that, man. He'll be fine. He's still a great pitcher to me, but
it's a big flaw in this game.
We've talked about it several times, me and you, Damon. That Nola. We talked about the Nola problem for many years, and we both kind of come to an agreement. He later in the game, he's got to live at the bottom of the plate. He's got to live in the bottom of the zone. Because when you have that stuff with that movement, living at the bottom of the zone is your best friend.
Yeah.
When you try to attempt to live at the top of the zone, you're gonna get the ball over the fence.
And to your point, Joey, living at the bottom of the plate, he's now trusting his defense to go out there and make plays for him.
And you have to continue to do that.
Yeah,
I mean, look,
man.
if they make the errors, this is my philosophy. If you're a pitcher that makes good pitches, right, but your defense fails you, even if you lost the game as a pitcher, you didn't lose the game.
Right.
Your defense did.
Yeah.
And you have these guys behind you. Let them work. They get paid too. Mm-hmm. Why do you have to do all the heavy lifting?
Mm-hmm.
Like, let them work. And so for me, and look, they get enough days off with Zach Wheeler. Like he strikes out enough people that he gives enough of those fielders a day off.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
Thank you, Mets.
Yeah, and so like this is my perspective is that I feel like if Nola can control the long ball by not letting his mental state go, okay, I got to throw it past him. I got to throw it far. I got to throw it hard past him. No. Keep it low. Keep it the way. If you could do what you did in the first 3 innings, the fourth, fifth, and sixth inning, you're fine.
You're fine. and trusting that defense. That's when the catcher has to come out, Remuto or
Marsh,
excuse me, come
Marshall.
out and say, listen, man, just trust me. I'm calling it slow for a reason. And trusting that. And if they smack it, trust your defense. Bowman's all right at third. You know what I'm saying? Stott's gonna get grab something. So, trusting your defense, man. Trust and stop keeping that ball up. Joe, you can see it. You can see I'm like, oh, here we go. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And boom. There you go. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm back.
We got you.
Yeah, we're good, buddy.
Yeah.
You got so excited, you blew up the Wi-Fi. You got so excited.
I appreciate you guys bringing me in today, man. It's been a blast, man. It really has.
Before we get out of here,
hey, it's therapy for me too, buddy.
And I gotta say,
you know what, my friend.
Before we get out of here, first off, Damon, if we don't get to say it, and I'm sure we're gonna get to say it now, dude, it's been a pleasure having you on. I get it, you're busy. I get it, but we miss you. We love you. You always have a place here.
Appreciate you.
And we'll have you on again at another point.
Yes. The draft is coming up, so I mean, I got time between now the draft and I got graduations. My niece graduating college and my son. I'm on a graduation tour and all that good stuff. So it's a pleasure being on here with you guys. James, before I forget, tell your dad I said hi, man. Send my peace and blessings to him.
I sure will, buddy. And it was good to see you again too, my friend. Hope all is well with you guys, and also hope everything stays well for you.
And by the way,
family too.
And by the way, Damon, tell Will Smith to stop riding your coattails. I'm just kidding. tell him to get jiggy with it back in Miami.
Man, you're the best, brother.
Tell him to get jiggy with it down in Miami, okay? So
you're the best, man.
What is to close the show? I ask a couple people this question leading into the Philly season. I'll ask you this now, Damon. I want your season total wins prediction for the Philadelphia Phillies for this coming season.
You want to know my number, Joe?
Yeah.
I was toying with it, and my students, they come up. I love my students, man. I told them the Eagles were going to go on a 10-game winning streak, and we did. And they said, "Mr. Saleem, what's next?" I did. I told. Oh shoot, what happened?
No, you're good.
You're good.
I'm going to go. James is going to love this. 101 and 61.
Ooh, my man.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow.
101 wins.
Wow.
Ooh wee.
Right here first.
101.
That's a mic drop, buddy.
Yeah.
That's a mic drop, my friend.
And with that, we are going to drop the mic.
Damn right.
For Damon Saleem, thank you, my brother, for coming on.
Man.
Appreciate it, man.
James, pleasure. Love you guys. Yes.
One of the best producers in the game now.
He is.
I'm Joe Marks. We're the Patterson Ave Sports Show, and Philadelphia, have a good weekend.
Go Birds, go Phils. Let's go get it, man.
Let's go get it.